All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalists Hangout. I still have Paul Dada right here with me and Tony Nwaje. All right, straight to our next conversation. A prerogative of mercy is an act of clemency by a constitutional head of state that restores dignity to individuals once convicted of offences. In this regard, President Bola Tinubu has approved state clemency for late Major General Mamman Vatsa, Herbert Macaulay and 173 others following recommendations from the Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy and ratification by the National Council of State. The list includes 82 inmates granted full pardon, 65 with sentence reductions and 7 death sentences commuted to life imprisonment. Okay, Paul, I mean, first of all, the pardoning of 2 key figures, Herbert Macaulay, Major General Mamman Vatsa, and also the Ogoni 9.
Yeah.
These are heavy symbolic weight. But what does this symbolize to you?
Yes, honestly, I'm very happy about it. Some might wonder, some might say, what's the essence? I saw people laughing that they are long dead. But you know, history is very, very important. What do we remember them for? You know, the stigma of being ex-convict it's now been removed. Okay, if you look at Herbert Macaulay, and these are Herbert Macaulay, Vatsa, the Ogoni 9, the most prominent among them being Kensaro Wiwa. These were people that contributed positively to the society. The first person, one of the first persons to fight the British colonial rule that sets the pace for Nigerian independence was Herbert Macaulay. He was the first person to start a daily newspaper. Daily. I didn't say the first newspaper. The first newspaper was Iwe Iroyin by William Townsend. In Abeokuta. So he was one of the first persons. He started the first political party in Nigeria, NNDP. All right? But this man, in very controversial circumstances, the colonial authorities accused him of mismanaging funds, you know, of an estate. He was a surveyor, he was an engineer, he was a newspaper publisher.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Then the second one was that his newspaper published an article that was seditious, you know, considered insulting to the then Oba of Lagos. They were controversial cases against him. And he was banned for life, you know, for holding a political office and all of that. So he died. But although he did well, you know, but he remained an ex-convict until he died. Look at Vatsa. Everybody knows. I mean, the killing, the conviction, and the execution of Vatsa was roundly condemned. If you remember, you know, it was claimed that
he was part of the coup.
He didn't. Of course, he said he wasn't part of it. And gentleman soldier, poet soldier, Babangida's
best man, his wedding.
Very good friend. Babangida has his own narrative. He wrote a book, and you know, the truth is that there will be divergent narratives. But again, Vatsa is no longer an ex-convict. Okay. And he has been pardoned. So it's a very good thing. I think those who have a sense of history will know that Vatsa made a serious contribution to the field of literature.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Then the Ogoni 9. I read Kensarowiwa's books, you know. The one I love much was Mr. B, the one he turned into a novel. And he also directed this Bassi and Company, you know, those places, you know. We know that he was an environmentalist. We know that he was also a human rights activist that drew the hire of Abacha. Abacha hated him because he was actually giving the authorities, you know, headache. So he was accused of being involved in the killing of the Ogoni folk, who were also honored. Now there are narratives and counter-narratives.
Yes.
But what I know is that during that period, there was an international pressure, both local and international pressure, on the Abacha junta, an illegitimate government, to pardon
the Ogoni
9, to let them go. But you see how it went. They were hanged. So I think it's a very good thing. So that stigma hanging on their necks
has been
so
the families would, you know,
course, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, but granting posthumous pardons for persons who've been deceased, you know, for a long time, some will say that does it really carry any real legal...
He just said it. He just said it. He said the families. I'm sure they are the most happiest at this point.
But he just
my father is an ex-convict. You don't how it sounds.
So that weight gets lifted.
That weight has been lifted. You know, that weight has been lifted. So it's a lot. I've gone online and I've seen a lot of Nigerians not understanding the implication of what the president just did on the families of these people. The burden lifted and the stigma removed.
Yes.
You know, just so we are suffering now. Well, how does that solve our problem? You know, those are the economic quagmire is still there. Nothing has changed. So lifting, and pardoning people who are long dead. You know, but I think it goes beyond that. I wouldn't have commented on this if not for the fact that I'm on this desk, because I want to see the rest 173 people remaining. Apart from Kensaru and the Ogoni 9, apart from Farouk Lawan, apart from Maman Vatsa, I want to know the others. I want
those
to know
who were committed from death sentence
who was
to life
pardoned here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder why the list, as we speak, is yet to be released. Yeah, on Kensaru, for instance, we know how he fought the military. And we know that the military did not, under Abacha, didn't do well by killing him. The international community rose against, but knowing Abacha, you know, everybody knows Abacha. You know, it kept the country off the world completely. He was not interested in what the world, he was doing his own thing. The world was actually clamoring that these people should be released, but he killed them. In a more dehumanizing manner. But today, you can't even say this way. You know, these are the carcass. On Vatsa was definitely, we know what happened under Babangida and Vatsa, their friendship and how he was framed up. And then how military coup issue every day we hear military people were being framed up every day. The later General Dia, the case on Abdul Karim Adisa and co, even General Olusegun Obasanjo that was almost killed before God rescued him. How the military come up with different kinds of military coup, and we must buy it. They sell it to us and they project it before us, and we don't have a choice. But now, if at the end of the day, these people in question are pardoned, especially Herbert Macaulay, we are talking about someone who has been in our Naira note for a long time, it's a welcome development. But again, I want to see the rest.
The 173.
I really want to see.
But looking at the point you raised, do you think future administration should consider institutionalizing this periodic reviews of historic injustices, you know, to ensure timely redress?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. But again, you know, I'm very happy. You know what? I'm very happy that history has been brought back to
our curriculum,
because a whole lot of people don't even know.
Lots of
if you ask an average Gen Z now, I will tell you.
Who is Macaulay? Who is Macaulay?
In fact, I was asking some people, Christopher Colade died. I said, do you know Christopher Colade?
Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Now, that said, it's a very good thing because a whole lot of people were repressed, oppressed by... Nigeria has had its share of having very bad rulers, you know, military rulers, maximum rulers that did a lot, you know, a lot of much injustice, that perpetrated much injustice, much oppression against the people. And so many people, I'm glad this government has started to do it already. Remember, some people were given national honors, including my boss, Kule Ajibade, who was jailed for life, you know, over a story he did not even utter. In fact, the person who authored the story for which he was jailed is Babajide Kolade.
Yeah, he talked about it. I remember he talked about it.
And then the man was robbed in a coup plot he knew nothing about because of a story. And he was jailed for life. So I think already this government is redressing some of those errors, historical, some of those errors that happened in history, but we will do more. We should do more. Let's look at more people that have been, you know, that were unjustly treated, and let's see how we can redress them.
Your thoughts on this?
Redress the issues, rather.
Yeah, everybody knows what they mean. We're talking about the military regime. Majority of these people we're talking about were sentenced by the military. Sentenced in the sense that their names were were dented. And then, if the president deems it fit to mend fences at this point and build cohesion, I don't have a problem with it. Nigeria needs to make progress. If there are hindrances and he has scrutinized this and researched into it and said, okay, I think let's do it this way, forgive this. What the country needs at this point for healing is forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. We must learn to forgive. A lot of things are wrong at the moment. And the only way to heal the nation is to forgive.
Is to forgive.
Is to forgive. There are a lot of things needs to be done. There are some. That's why I said I want to see that list, and I hope there are some names on my head here, and I hope they are in their list.
I mean, because if you compare, because this is not the first time we've had this pardon exercise, Prerogative of Mercy. But if you compare it with past administrations, how would you compare? Do you think this recent one was more expansive?
But we don't know, we don't know those who are there. So we can't even, we don't know many of them.
Yes.
So we cannot so much comment on the, whether they deserve, whether many of those who actually deserve it. But it is important to note that one of the reasons for granting pardon to some of the people was to decongest the prisons.
Yes.
You know, because we know that we have overcrowded prisons and all of that. That's one of the reasons given, you know. And then some people were forgiven, like Farouk Lawan. There's need for forgiveness. You know, there's need for forgiveness. Some people are crying that why? Well, the president has the power to exercise Prerogative of Mercy, and there was a committee that recommended those names to the president. And
I'm sure they must have looked at, some
ignorant people are even saying, you know, Nigerians need to educate themselves. Somebody said, why not pardon Nnamdi Kanu? For God's sake, Nnamdi Kanu has not been convicted. Nnamdi Kanu, a man that is not convicted is innocent. What we should be talking about is, okay, we can talk about releasing Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu. I'm an advocate of political solution. Honestly,
that's what
I would want, if you ask me, I would want Nnamdi Kanu released. That's my personal view. Okay. But under certain conditions.
Yeah,
under certain conditions. However, who is talking of pardon for somebody who is not convicted yet? I mean, the judge has not said is guilty. So wait till then. But I hope we don't even have to wait till then before they resolve the issue. So people should talk with intelligence.